So as Michael said, my name is Susie Wilburn, and I use the pronouns she, her, and I've been the president of PFLAG Woodstock since 2022. So I want to have a show of hands. How many of you are left-handed? Okay. So at what point in your life did you realize you were left-handed?
When I got my hand smacked, by turning my hand around to right.
Sure. Was there something wrong with you? Was there something wrong with you? Yeah. They tried to make you right-handed?
Mm-hmm.
So could you change being left-handed?
We could have, but did not.
Would you change?
No.
So now, without a show of hands, how many of you are heterosexuals? Without a show of hands. And at what point in your life did you realize that you were heterosexual? So why didn't I ask the question, how many of you are gay? Because it might cause embarrassment, it might cause judgment on your part or their part, it might cause shame. And is it wrong to out someone, and why? Would it make any difference to you if there were gay people in the room with us? So as Michael said, PFLAG was originally called Parents for Lesbians and Gays, Parents and Families for Lesbians and Gays, but with the addition of bisexual, transgender, and asexual, and queer, we now just say PFLAG. It just makes it easier. I'm sure you've all heard the alphabet soup and try to understand what those letters mean. So it's easier now just to say PFLAG and realize that it encompasses all of them. So PFLAG's mission is to support and advocate for the LGBTQ family and their community. We've been a chapter since 2022, and we're one of few of them in this part of Virginia. There's one in Charlottesville and one in Floyd, but I think both of those chapters are struggling. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we're a member of the Shenandoah County Chamber of Commerce. Sorry, Sharon. In addition to community advocacy, we hold monthly support meetings for the LGBTQ community, and we offer safe zone trainings for local organizations and businesses. So why is this important? As Michael said, LGBTQ young people are more than 4 times as likely to attempt suicide than their peers. 41% of LGBTQ plus young people ages 13 to 24 seriously considered suicide in the past year, including roughly half of transgender and non-binary youth. Young people of color are at higher risk. But as Michael said, and I'm just kind of reiterating what he introduced, that LGBT young people are not inherently prone to suicide risk because of their sexual orientation or their gender identity. It's more about the risk of how they feel in the community and how they're being stigmatized or treated. So at PFLAG Woodstock, we're trying to build community, and we're grateful that you allowed us to come and speak today, because that helps us to build community as well. So we do this through safe zone trainings and through support meetings that we hold monthly. And in the safe zone trainings, we explain what a safe zone means and why we all need them. We explain the difference between sex and gender, the distinctions between those two things. We explain how awareness of privilege matters. And we explain how to communicate with those within the LGBTQ plus world. So these are some organizations locally that have allowed us to come and do safe zone trainings for them. And each of them wanted to lead with love. And the tagline for PFLAG is that we lead with love. So some of the reasons reasons that those organizations wanted safe zone training were if they had a lesbian client who had a former spouse or a spouse that was homophobic, and they had children, and they needed a safe space. So they wanted to understand that for people that came to their business. Housing discrimination has contributed to homelessness. So if someone is in the LGBTQ community, they are discriminated against for housing. Church congregations have made gay and trans visitors not welcome. Youthful campers, away from their parents for the first time, have shared secrets with counselors. And those counselors wanted that child to be their authentic self while they were at camp. They didn't want to have to pretend to be somebody that they weren't. So they wanted to honor those children for who they saw themselves as being. So all of those organizations wanted to lead with love. So again, as I said earlier, we hold monthly support meetings, and we do that at First Bank in Woodstock. Thank you, First Bank. We really appreciate that space. And a couple of examples that I want to share with you that have been shared in that support meeting space, which we have ground rules. We talk about, this is like Vegas, what's said here stays here. We've had grandmothers that have come in that their grandchild is identifying and questioning their identity, and her church is telling her to shun that child until that child properly identifies with the sex that they were born with at birth. And so the grandma's heart is telling them to love the child, and that's what she wanted to do. So she came to our support meeting, and she sat around the table with other grandparents who were experiencing the same thing. And her own son was not allowing his children to have any participation with their cousins. So as you can see, this is like a 3-generation situation here. And this is not just about those folks that are LGBTQ+. This is about how it's upsetting family dynamics. We had a bisexual grandfather that came in. His own son had been absent from the children's lives. 2 of those grandchildren identify in the LGBTQ+ community. So he was able to talk with those children. He came to our meetings for support so that he could figure out how to support those kids, and he could be there for those kids. So he was basically listening with love to those children to help them understand and to help to support them. And then one of those children that he brought to the support meeting actually helped another teen that was on a Zoom call, because we allow Zoom calls for the support meetings, and a teen was with their counselor in the Zoom call. And so the teen that was in the room was able to connect on a personal level with that teen. And so everybody left the meeting feeling very supported and loved and cared for and listened to. So how can you lead with love? So you can wear a pin, a rainbow pin, to allow people to recognize you as a safe person. It's not about you, it's about them, so that they feel safe approaching you and talking to you and understanding that you will see them as their authentic self and you will love them. You can schedule a safe zone training with us, or come and sit in on one of the ones that we have in one of the local businesses. You can understand how public policies, like the local school board's policies, how that will affect the lives of those LGBTQ kids in our community. What kind of health care or issues will that have upon that child's life for that child to succeed in their schoolwork? You can show compassion and empathy and ask questions and listen. And you can question your own beliefs. You can ask yourself, what would Jesus really do in this situation? How would he treat those that are different? And you can get involved with us. And I've got some cards and trifold brochures over here that you're welcome to take, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. No questions? Sean?
Susie, thank you. That was lovely. And one word that I kept listening for and I could hear, which seems like it's the mission, which is to increase tolerance, because that really is the crux of the matter. I can't explain why so many young white men feel they have to, put down folks that are different, whether it's guys or gals or, it's just an amazing thing about our species. And it does seem to be focused in on those young white men that do the nasty things that end up in emergency departments.
Right. Well, Dawn, I think what we do is we try to advocate and educate, and I think through education is where we're gonna see that change. It's new. Our species is evolving.
There've been gay people for centuries.
Oh, I know.
And so that isn't new. And the intolerance isn't new.
Right. Did I see a hand? Yeah.
There's a lot of controversy about biological males competing against biological females in the Olympic sports. Does PFLAG have an opinion on that?
No, not a particular opinion other than, well, I personally don't have an opinion of that, and I don't think PFLAG would have either. I could get back to you I can research that for you if you'd like and find out. I understand the concerns for both sides to that issue. I think that we have to be fair to each individual.
I have a granddaughter, and I'd be very upset with a biological male changing the same dressing room as she's in.
I've heard that argument before, and let me put it another way. How do you think that the person that's in that restroom, that's going into that restroom that just wants to pee, how do you think they feel going in there and have the people that are in the restroom feeling threatened by them, right? So it isn't always about how it's perceived, okay? Things aren't always what you think they are, and people aren't going into bathrooms to attack other people. They're just going in there to use the bathroom. And I think that we need to flip our perceptions around and look at it from the perception of the person who is different and who just wants to go pee, right? I'll give you an example. One of the safe zone trainings that we did, and I won't tell you which one it was, but one of them, they had an incident where they had a transgender female coming into the building. So this person that was in charge of this organization was worried sick over how to accommodate this person that was coming into the building, who's a transgender woman, okay? One of the employees went to this person and was really upset about this transgender woman using the same bathroom as her. And so she's worrying to death on how am I going to accommodate this transgender person. When she got home, she was fretting about it, and she called her 25-year-old daughter. And her daughter said, "Mom, that's not who you need to worry about. The person you need to worry about is the woman that's complaining, because they need to change their mindset as to, this person isn't in here to harm me. They're in here to wash their hands or to go to the restroom." Part of the stigma and the anxiety that transgender individuals experience on a day-to-day basis is going to the bathroom. Can you imagine having to go in a bathroom and having everyone that's in there afraid of you for no real reason. So I think we need to flip that conversation and maybe look at it from the other perspective and look at it in a realistic way. That person isn't in there to harm your granddaughter. They just want to use the bathroom or change clothes. In school situations, they do have accommodations where they have a place where they can change clothes and they can, do the necessary things to prepare themselves for the sport or for whatever it is. And so those accommodations are being made within the school systems and within businesses throughout the county. So I know that the new facility in Mount Jackson, Crew, they are installing gender-neutral bathrooms for these very reasons, so that people can go into a restroom and feel safe from both sides, not just your granddaughter, but the person that wants to go in there and use the bathroom. I hope that helped. Yeah? Anybody else? No? Well, thank you all for having me.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Mike.